So in terms of one setup per session, this actually caught my eye. I'm not actively trading the London session, but I saw a nice one here. Let's just zoom out first, which gives us absolutely no visibility. So there's actually nothing much going on in the 4 hour. And what we could see here is that price tagged all the highs printed over the Asia session, but also no proper value gaps, whatever. This 15-minute fair value gap was already corrected or already filled. Same on the downside, because I was thinking this is also an interesting reversal, but there's nothing much going on except that it's all happening within a 15-minute fair value gap. And even the 5-minute is not. Okay, the 5-minute was filled. So this is actually really looking for a setup. So this level didn't even get tagged. But what caught my eye, if you do want to look for a setup, that's the fact that we have this manipulation of the lows. So this is all very low time frame, right? I would not trade this, I think. You get this manipulation, small S&T. So this could potentially be another setup per session. Clear, enormous gap, but a clear change in the state. Once price breaks this level, you could target this high and this high. So that's one you get for free. But what mostly caught my eye is whenever, let's say, the level is just nearly tagged, for ES it did not happen. See? So there's a small gap here. These were equal highs. Then it's consolidating a bit, and then you get this fast move up, which for me is absolute manipulation. It was manipulation at 4 o'clock, so that means that the markets are open for 1 hour. And around 4 o'clock, you get normally a manipulation of sorts. No, this was actually the open, of course. We have now summertime, a different daylight saving time. So this was the manipulation up, and that created a fair value gap. Normally I don't go to the second charts because that's just too low time frame for me. Price corrected. Once you get a break, a close below, then you could target stop above here and target whatever level is suitable. I think this could be interesting. That's a 2-hour trade, or maybe go for the 618, which normally has my preference. What else do we have? Yeah, and then the whole chop fast starts. So what you could actually see then is we have a change in the state. The last move down before we had the new highs. And what you could see for ES, that it actually broke this level already here. If you could look at NQ, and then there's this last wick into the level, into the fair value gap before selling off on ES. And I think ES, because that's something to take into account, if one of the two assets already hit their target, which it did, so most likely if there is no proper bounce, so this could actually be a warning sign to keep your NQ trade open, because very often you see either consolidation, sometimes it just prints lower, and sometimes it bounces quickly. A bounce quick doesn't seem very high probability, because this is just an enormous chop fest. I mean, volume is low, so I might tend to think that this actually breaks down and goes back to maybe this gap or this cluster. But like I said, once either ES or NQ already hit target, then you have to take into account that a possible bounce is a higher probability, and you should take some off the table because the target has been met, in this case for ES. But maybe as we look at it now, the 618 is going to get ran because this level is not holding anymore for ES. So the alternative here is to wait for the breakdown of the 236, stop at the 0.1, and then target the 618 for a beautiful, well, I have to draw them correctly. Normally it's a 2.7, 2.8, 2.7, which I think is wonderful. So I think it goes, yeah. I don't see maybe in this fair value gap, but I think it has too much weight at the moment. So I can just sit and wait here and see whether or not it hit the level. So there are multiple entries. You can wait for NQ to break change in the state, so take it here. But then this is quite a large stop, especially seeing your ideal target. So that's not what you want, I think. So close below the fair value gap or the re-entry of the fair value gap, or you can trade the 236. But normally I don't do it. I only do it as confluence. So if it has confluence with these levels, which it has, then I would trade it. So I'm not going to wait for the actual tagging of the 618, because if I would be in this trade, I would definitely close my position here or get stopped out maybe here. So for me this would be a done trade. Okay, now another setup in a session. So much money to be made, guys. No need to rush yourself into any position.